Hey guys, it's your friendly neighborhood Cryptic here to tell you about a bill that's in Texas right now that, if passed, would open records for adoptees. Unfortunately, there seems to be some naysayers, so I'm here to educate with a 10-point list on why this bill needs to be passed. It's time to restore adoptee civil rights. Texas hasn't always had closed records. Right now, there are 254 counties in the state of Texas, and each one has their own definition of what our civil rights should be. Geography shouldn't determine a person's civil rights. Family medical histories are a must for a healthy life. Right now, there are over 6,000 genetic disorders that have been cataloged by the Genetic Disease Foundation. These are disorders that can be passed down from generation to generation, and the lack of access to our family medical histories is literally killing us. Opening records does not increase abortion rates. To the contrary, abortion rates seem to fall when you open records. Even in Oregon, a state that has no abortion restrictions, the rates of abortion fell after the state restored access to original birth certificates in the year 2000. Stated very bluntly, opening records does not influence women to have more abortions. And as a side note, Alaska and Kansas, two states that have never had closed records, have yet to implode. It's not just adoptees that want adoptees to have access to their information. During the bill's hearing in the House of Representatives, it wasn't just adoptees testifying in favor. There was also birth families and adoptive families. In fact, pro-life groups, adoption agencies, and even genealogical companies like Family Tree DNA all support open records for adoptees. HB984 is a balanced bill. There are no provisions in HB984 to prevent adoptees from gaining access to their original birth certificates. There is also no provisions in 984 to allow for redaction of information from those original birth certificates. There is a provision in 984 to allow for biological parents to file a contact preference form. The state of Alabama has had the highest rate of opt-out so far, with a measly 3.71% of the total amount of record requests. Did you catch when I just said total amount of record requests and not the total amount of biological parents? So let's flip this around and look at this from the standpoint of how many biological parents would really like to opt out. The state of Ohio recently opened records for their 400,000 adoptees. As of March 20th, 2015, 115 biological parents had filed a no-contact preference form. So 115 out of 800,000 works out to about 0.014375. I'm just going to stop. It's a very tiny percentage. So here's my reality check for you. Contact between two people has to be consensual anyway, or else it's illegal. So you may think this is a moot point. But at least this way people have warning before a big event occurs in their life. Sealed records do not increase privacy. Left with few options, adoptees, biological families, and adoptive families have taken to social media to try to find relatives. Adoptees, adoptive family members, and biological family members are posting their personal information all over the internet. At this point, we probably have a million poster children for how not to become an identity theft victim. So how do you give adoptees and their families the same privacy and access to their information that everyone else enjoys? HB984. So social media is one way that people are circumventing sealed records in order to find family members. And here's another one. Over 1.5 million people have already submitted their DNA to online databases. Now, we can't yet use DNA to discover all the possible diseases that may be passed down from generation to generation in families. We can use our DNA to discover family members. And in doing so, we render these archaic laws completely invalid. So it's time for a little bit more math. Hey, Cryptic, how many people in Texas would this actually affect? The population of Texas is about 27 million, and adoptees make up about 2% of the population. So that's about 540,000 adoptees. But opening up sealed records doesn't just affect adoptees. It also affects biological family members and adoptive family members. And it also affects the children of adoptees and the grandchildren. Privacy and anonymity are not the same thing. We live in an age where all who are born and their creators are documented by the state. There is no fundamental human right to anonymity from your offspring. In fact, there is no evidence of relinquishment documents ever containing anonymity clauses. Point number 10. HB 984 is clean legislation. It increases privacy for adoptees and their families. It provides access to medical histories. It restores adoptee rights. The time is now. The place is Texas, and we are the people. Thanks for watching.